Well, hi everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I'll be talking about a very special house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright for his son and daughter-in-law, completed in 1952. But first, I wanted to take a step back and talk about how my family became involved with this property, with a huge thanks to the generosity of our friend, Jim Benson. So this story starts about 30 years ago in China, where both of my parents were born and subsequently met in college at Tsinghua University. Back then, there was no such thing as an architecture major, and since they're both much smarter than me, decided to study structural engineering. My dad caught the eye of a visitor, Ling Po, whose name may be familiar to some. He was an apprentice of Frank Lloyd Wright, known for his beautiful renderings. He invited my dad to study architecture at Taliesin on scholarship, and in 1988, my dad traveled to Arizona with allegedly $50 in his pocket and not much else. And the drawing of Falling Water was completed the same year he arrived in the US. For my older sister, Dawn, Taliesin was integral to her childhood. She was born while my parents lived there, and I'm sure caused a little bit of chaos in the studio. That's us too, over 20 years ago, posing at the front of Taliesin West. And while my parents eventually moved out to begin their own practice, we still returned every year for Easter. And I really want to emphasize the deep nature of community at Taliesin. While some may refer to it as sort of a commune, for both of my parents, it was a second family. As immigrants, they knew very few people and were absolutely welcomed with open arms. And Ling was shown in the center picture with my sister. So fast forward a few decades, and here we are at the David and Gladys Wright House. Ownership of the building has changed hands a few times, with one person attempting to demolish it and another hoping to turn it into a cultural center. Dad and I are working together to restore it to its full splendor. So here are David and Gladys, who asked Frank to design them a home. And the only criteria that David gave was to use the company he worked for to manufacture and distribute the concrete block, which really gives this house its iconic look. The lot was located in the center of a citrus grove, which has since been transformed into the suburban neighborhood of Arcadia. And while the surrounding areas are no longer as picturesque, the incredible view of Camelback Mountain is still there, and this house was designed to showcase the beautiful desert landscape. Frank Lloyd Wright titled the design of this home, How to Live in the Southwest. Suspended above the citrus grove, the house was built to capitalize on desert breezes and views. And Ling Po, who I previously mentioned, actually drew the renderings and the plan for this home. And so the circular home may bring to mind one of Wright's most famous buildings, the Guggenheim in New York City. I don't know if the stakes were lower when it comes to family business, but Wright really took the opportunity to experiment with new forms, and this home served as the precursor to the museum. The grand ramp also served its owners well in their old age. Both David and Gladys lived here until they were over 100 years old, so we're hoping some of that longevity comes with the building. So when you arrive to the building, you're invited to walk through the circular courtyard on the ground floor to the base of the ramp. And as you walk up, Camelback Mountain is directly to your right, and the view just gets better with every step you take. The main entrance takes you into a dark foyer with low ceilings, emphasizing the sense of compression before you come into this wonderful space with balconies on both sides and floor-to-ceiling windows that really emphasize the indoor-outdoor connectivity. And while this is amazing, one of my favorite spaces in this home is actually the kitchen, where, since living here for the past couple of months, I've spent the most time. There are things here that you just don't see in a normal home. Like, my favorite part is the trash can wedged right up against the stove that fits perfectly in that little spot. And this room really reinforces Wright's reimagination of the kitchen as an important place for the family. It's living here has been like, we've been transported to the 50s. All the appliances are original. We have no Wi-Fi and no TV. So we have to find other forms of entertainment, one of which I show here, where my friend Maya discovered that this rug actually resembles Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. And with that being said, the interior of the home is in great condition. We're very lucky with that. The ceiling is paneled with rich Philippine mahogany, which really warms up the space. And one area of exception would be the leaky roof, which I think makes this a trademark Frank Lloyd Wright home. And it also comes with all the custom furniture and the beautiful rug that reinforces the use of circles and arcs. So both these images, the one on the left was taken by me and the other was from the archives, really show how light dances around the space, creating dramatic shadows and illuminating the volume. And the next images are shot from the master bedroom. I think this room offers a glimpse into Wright's unique way of thinking. Instead of showcasing the landscape on full blast like it is in the living room, the incredible view of Camelback Mountain is only fully realized when you sit down, or in my case, when you wake up to the hot desert sun pummeling me in the mornings. So getting new curtains is on my list of priorities. And here are the other two bedrooms, which you can see are still in great condition. And my dad and I really hope to elevate this entire house to the level of richness and detail that you can see here. The majority of the work is actually on the exterior of the building, where we're in the process of installing a new copper roof. And so I want to take us back to Taliesin for a second and emphasize the long-lasting legacy and impact this place has had on my family. Regardless of whether you like his buildings or like his method of teaching, he really built a community for my family to be a part of and is on show today with all of you guys listening. And so thank you so much. We are so excited to be able to work on this restoration, and it's really the people that remain at the heart of this project. And we are so excited to share in the process. Thank you to Marta and Eric for organizing all of this.
Bravo.